Okay, so here we've got a 1986 Yamaha yz250. So 1986 is the S model. She's seen better days, really. On my website, I've got her listed as 1986 yz250 with nice seat cover. So someone's covered this seat with what looks to be like an old shirt or piece of curtain material or something. It's not the best, really. And then they've painted the plastic, so they've painted the tank. So the original colour of the tank, which would have been brilliant white, it gets stained due to the fuel inside there, so it goes like a cream cover. So they've painted that white, but then that's all bubbled. The rad scoops should be a red, so this bike should have really been red and white. So the seat cover would have been red, the air scoops would have been red, the frame is obviously still red, or most of it's red, except for the bits where they've oversprayed the white. So round the headstock here, they've oversprayed the tank, and there's white bits of paint on the frame. So needs a bit of love, really. Then other than that, so the seat cover's not great. The painting of the plastics is not great. Other than that, I was thinking we were onto a relatively good do. There's quite a lot of oil around the engine and on the frame, and it does spark, but the spark was very weak, so I've ended up changing the plug. I've put a new plug in. Carb was clean, so I thought it was going to be reasonably good to get running. It's got compression, and like I say, it sparks. And then so I stuck a bit of fresh fuel into the car and ran it up, and it's absolutely pouring smoke out of the exhaust. And I thought that might have cleared, but it hasn't cleared. So sometimes they smoke a lot the first time they've started for a while, because there's a load of rubbish in the bottom of the crankcase that just needs to get burnt off, but that hasn't happened. So since it's run, there's then been a load of oil that's poured down out of the exhaust manifold, out of the exhaust, and dripped down the engine. And then there's also a whole load of oil that has come out of the joint between the header, the main exhaust, and the silencer. And that oil seems to me to be gearbox oil, which would suggest that the crank seals have gone. So it could be, the crank seals could have gone on both sides, so it could be sucking in air on one side and taking in the gearbox oil on the other side. So I'm not going to get this bike running again, because it would not be a good idea. And then the other bit that I've noticed on this bike is that they have got a random bolt stuck in. So that's the level plug for the gearbox oil. They've got a random bolt stuck in there. That random bolt, when I've had a closer look, I haven't taken it out or anything like that, they've actually cracked the clutch cover, so it's going to need a new clutch cover. That's magnesium cover. And then the other thing is the power valve. There's a cover that goes over the power valve here, and that cover is missing. So the few main things: crank seals are gone, clutch cover required, and power valve cover is missing. And other than that, it's probably just a case of a general clean up. So we'll have a quick look around the bike, and then we'll do the gearbox check, and then get her up for sale. Okay, so as I said, they've sprayed the bike without taking it apart, really. So there's overspray of white on the frame. You can see where the tank's bubbling. That's the colour it should have been. You can see where it would have been the red plastics instead of black. I've sprayed all of the panels, front and rear mud guard as well. The exhaust has also got a nice bit of white on it. This is the oil that's come out of the silencer, and this is the oil that's come out of the exhaust manifold. So it's not great really, but crank seal's not a massive job to do. The bigger issue really, I would think, is this clutch cover, but they are available, these clutch covers, you can buy them, so that should not be too much of an issue. Exhaust is a bit dented, could be blown out or probably replaced. The silencer, there's a bit missing, so probably going to want to replace the silencer as well. The brakes work front and back, so that's good. The clutch has play in it, and I mean, I haven't run it to ride it, so I haven't actually checked the clutch whether it's functioning properly or not, but I have no reason to believe that it wouldn't do. The front rim is nice and clean and round, there's no dents in it at all, so that's all good. The forks look to be in decent condition. And then frame, other than the overspray, looks to be in reasonable condition. There is a bit that I noticed, there's a lug to mount the rear mud guard, which is cracked there. You could easily clean that up and weld that back on. Because of the overspray, you're probably going to need to have the frame painted or powder coated anyway, so that's not a major issue, I don't think. And the rear rim has seen better days, so there's a weld there and then there's a weld there. It's obviously split the whole way across, so in fact there's other cracks in there as well as a crack there I've just seen. So new rear wheel or new rim, probably easy enough to find a rear wheel for this, I would think. Yeah, there you go. Okay, let's get this gearbox checked. So it's in neutral at the minute, down into first, back up into neutral, and second, third, fourth and fifth, which is the top of the gearbox, down into fourth, third, second and first, and back up into neutral. Like I say, this bike has run, but I'm sure it's drawing gearbox oil through the crank seal, so I'm not going to get this bike running again now. I don't think it's the right thing to do, so we'll leave that as it is. It is a running bike, but it does need work. So there you go, one nice project, 1986 Yamaha yz250s. Please like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Just search Phoenix Motos.